Hi. Are you tired of paying thousands for degrees? Is your lodge officer an asshole? Well, try King Gootu's Disclosure DVD box set. Only one payment of $33.13. It's time to leak some American Masonic degrees, because remember, if you remember my teachings, every region has a degree number. For example, there's only 33 American degrees. There's 96 African degrees. And then it keeps going, you know, like however many Australian degrees and however many England degrees. So the 33 secrets in America or pertain to America. And you know, these are very obvious, but I remember I was talking to Fred one day, and he told me, it's like, Jordan, you're choosing not to see history for what it is right now. He was implying that I should be able to just see it and just figure it out. At the time I didn't really understand what he meant by that, but now I know, because yesterday I had the epiphany of the truth behind the Civil War and the American Revolution. I should have realized this a long time ago, but it is what it is. Okay, the Masonic secret behind the Civil War is that obviously the South never lost. Because the South, the Confederacy, won the Civil War. And I remember I saw an Al Bielek video, who's notorious for the Philadelphia experiment. He said that he spoke to a woman who said that she tapped into the Akashic record and there was no record of a Union victory, which would be the North. So there's no so she said she tapped into the Akashic record. There's no evidence of a Union victory. So when I had this epiphany, that's the first thing I thought of. And there was one day I was watching Black News 102, and I remember there was this Black Mason guy who pretty much said all but just that, which was, he pretty much said that what he said specifically was that the South had so many big corporations, big powerful corporations, and the South had so many, much more soldiers, and they were a lot more well equipped. So it's kind of stupid to think that the North would win. So I'm no master teacher, but it's obvious that what happened was they just expunged the truth from history and then did a bunch of timeline wars and fabricated some documents, and voila. And of course, you had no cameras back then, so it's easy to fake a lot of things. And obviously the Masons play both sides. So, and for those who need me to spell it out to you, what happens is the Masons in the North and the Masons in the South get together and put up a list of a bunch of corporations and people they need exterminated. So then they fake a war to justify exterminating these corporations that are not on board with the big idea, the big agenda. Remember, war is an extension of politics. Politics is an extension of business. And business is an extension of Freemasonry. So anytime you have a war where it's like a civil war, it's always thought out in advance of, the Freemasons get together in a lodge and make a list and say, hey, so-and-so is not on board anymore, we need to make sure they get killed during this war. See, Freemasonry is a proving ground. It's all about how obedient you can be, and those who are more obedient get rewarded. And Freemasons do not believe in democracy. They believe in rule by scientific. They believe in rule by intellectual elite, which is why I'm God in this place. So it's basically the same thing with the Revolutionary War, where America fought for its independence from Britain, or so we're told. This one is very obvious because in the textbooks have us. We're supposed to believe that a bunch of farmers beat the trained, funded British Army. The textbooks would have you believe that a bunch of farmers beat up on the well-trained, well-funded British Army using guerrilla warfare. Once again, no cameras, no nothing, easy to fake a lot of things. We're supposed to believe a bunch of pisshead farmers. When has that ever happened in history? When have you ever had a bunch of farmers somehow, because farmers are always poor, so you can always control the farmers. So we're supposed to believe that the people who are controlling the farmers let up their guard for a second and allow the people to get armed? That doesn't make any sense. So now I'm choosing to see history for what really happened. And the thing with the South, the Confederacy, it's very obvious that they won because when you look at the flags, for example, the Florida flag, if you do like a Google image search of the Florida flag and the Confederate flag, they both have like the red X going through. So it's basically, you can see how, very easy to see how, for example, if the North won, why would they allow so much of this? Why would they allow the symbolism of the people who they beat on all their flags? Doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like if Americans beat the Nazis and then Americans started using the Nazi swastika on their flag. It wouldn't make any sense. Now let me tell you what real history is all about. It's actually very simple. Real history is all about the extermination of the typo negative and the people with activated junk DNA. Real history is all about calling the Native Americans, because they're like basically the last people who had the activated DNA. That's why Lewis and Clark made sure that they vaccinated all those people as much as possible to turn off their junk DNA and kill them. And there's been cases of real history where there's been entire villages of typo negative people who have been exterminated because the typo negatives have a mind, and when the typo negatives get together, they really have a mind. Real history is all about the good people with talent leaving 3D and the corrupt hijacking the incarnation grid to make sure only dumbasses incarnate. That's why the average human is not really human, they're just robots with 4 chakras activated. What the elite want is to remove pretty much all the chakras and have the birth external outside of a woman, but I don't think they'll be able to accomplish that. They might have, but I doubt it. I don't think they can have a birth outside a woman's womb. I know they want that to happen, but I don't think that they'll accomplish that. So real history is all about, like Gilbert always says, the comedians left. So many people the people who built the pyramids left. The people with talent left. So real history is all about the extermination of the people with activated junk DNA, activated chakras, and the culling of the herd. You have nothing left in this population but the herd. Now here's a little philosophy. Bashar says we all create our own reality. I say that's not true. I say that there's one reality. We are just in disunity consciousness to it.